Concrete. Magnat style concrete imitates raw concrete or, depending on the application method, allows to produce a texture imitating plank shuttering, steel formwork or a smooth surface finish with characteristic pitting and cavities. This modern artistic plaster is a sophisticated decoration of a modern interior, one that perfectly harmonizes with metal, glass and timber. Depending on the intended finish, the application of the coating requires the following products and tools: undercoat, a primer for optimum substrate preparation; concrete, a fine-grained mineral lime plaster with ready coloring; rustic topcoat sealer, an acrylic sealer for surface preservation; a steel float, a scriber, a decorative rubber stamp. Substrate preparation. Before starting work, examine the surface and, if necessary, prepare it according to good workmanship practices. Fill, sand and remove dust from uneven surfaces. Next, apply one layer of Magnat style undercoat with a roller. Leave the surface to dry. Product preparation. Power stir the dry plaster, adding 0.45 liter of water per 1 kilo of dry mass. Once the product has been mixed, leave it for about 1 hour in a closed container, then mix it again. Decoration for smooth finish. The decoration that imitates the smooth texture of concrete is usually applied in a single layer of the compound. Apply a uniform and smooth coat of Magnat style concrete using the Venetian float. Having applied about 1 square meter, use the float to texture the layer by locally scraping and smoothing the compound when it's still wet. Coat the successive areas of the decorated surface with the wet-on-wet technique. After applying 4 square meters of the product, or after every 20 to 30 minutes, smooth out the whole applied coat gently and leave it to dry. Repeat the process on the remaining parts of the decorated surface. Decoration for steel formwork finish. Apply 2 layers of the compound to create the steel formwork texture. The first layer will create the color background, level out the surface and ensure a final spatial effect. Leave the first layer to dry for about 12 hours. Apply the second layer in the same way as for the smooth finish, that is, scrape and smooth with the float every 1 square meter of the applied wet compound. When the plaster is dry enough that it no longer sticks to the tools, start scribing the texture. Mark vertical and horizontal lines on the coating surface with a level, then carve the texture with the scriber. You can use the same tool to make round holes that will imitate bolts and washers of the steel formwork. Leave the surface to dry for 12 hours. Then apply a protective layer of the rustic top coat sealer. Decoration for plank shuttering finish. To create the texture resembling planking, use 1 coat of the mixed compound. Apply the plaster in a layer that is slightly thicker than its grain size. Use the rubber stamp to imitate a wood growth ring pattern. Pass the stamp from top to bottom, moving your wrist steadily. It is best to apply the product at the width of 3 rubber stamps to build the growth ring texture on the wet plaster. Build the successive patches of the texture in the same way with wet-on-wet joints. Leave the surface to dry for 12 hours. preservation with top coat sealer. Once the coat has dried completely, apply the clear MAGNAT rustic style top coat sealer with a paintbrush or roller, depending on the finish. The top coat sealer will keep the decorative texture protected against scrubbing and detergent water washing.